Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kanisha if you already don't know. And in today's video we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in July. I read 12 books in the month of July, so it's been pretty good. I'm obviously trying to catch up on my reading goal and I feel like it's working. I feel like I'm getting back into the reading world that I love so much, so yeah. But anyways, let's get into the video. So the first book I read is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I gave this a 4.75 stars. This basically follows Eileen, who is going on like this annual trip that she normally goes with her book club friends, but unfortunately none of them are able to make it, so she decides to go on the trip by herself. And she somehow stumbles upon her favorite romance books, Small Town. So she ends up inside one of her favorite book series, and basically she gets to meet all these characters that she has loved so much for so many years. It was really good. I love this book. What a good book to start in July. Like it was just perfect. I love the vibes. I mean, who wouldn't want to live in their favorite romance book? Like, let's be real. I feel like the plot was super unique. It wasn't like anything I read before. And then obviously the romance that's also in it, I feel like it's almost kind of like a subplot of romance. And I felt like that was obviously a very typical romance, falling in love type of book. And I loved it so much. Love the two characters, Eileen and Anders. I think that's his name. The only reason why this did not get 5 stars was because the conflict at the end was unnecessary. Like, not why. Just why? What was the purpose of that? Honestly, if it didn't have that conflict, I think it would have been a 5 stars read, but yeah. So the next book I read is The Velvet Kingdom by Holly Renee. I gave this one a 3.5 stars. This is like a fantasy book, enemies to lovers a little bit. We follow our main character, Nara. She is the princess of the kingdom and she has no powers, and one day she escapes from the abusive king who was also her father. And she somehow gets recruited into the rebellion, and she meets the rebellion leader. What is his name? Dari? I don't know how to say his name. And basically she is just with the rebellion now, but they don't know about her secret, basically, that she is the princess of the kingdom. And it was so good, honestly. I think I was just there for the vibes. I really just found this book on Kindle Unlimited, and I think I've seen people talk about it, but not too much, so I decided just to read it because why not? And it was such a quick read. I cannot wait for the second book. I'm pretty sure the first book left off in a cliffhanger. I can remember, because for some reason I just cannot remember right now exactly what happened in the plot. But just know I had a fun time. Enemies of lovers, secret identity, a lot of tension for sure, because obviously it's a fantasy book. There's always tension. The only thing I didn't really like was that there wasn't too much character development, because I know the book was so short anyways. I just wish, honestly, that it was a little bit longer so we could get to know more about the characters and really fall in love with them. But overall, had a fun time. Can't wait for the second book. The next book I read is Hopeless by LZ Silver. This is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series, and I can't believe I'm saying those words. I can't believe I'm finally done with this series because I love this series so much. For this one, I gave it a 3 stars. Can't believe I finally read Hopeless, because honestly, I've been stalling on reading this because I just didn't want the world to end. I didn't want to say goodbye to these characters. I just love them so much. I did make a reading vlog for this, but I'm just gonna mention my just like overall thoughts and everything like that. But if you want to know more about the book and more of my thoughts, you can watch my reading vlog. This was not my favorite book out of the Chestnut Spring series. I thought Bo and Bailey didn't really have that much of a connection. I think it's because of their age gap. It was like 22 and 35 or something like that. So it was like such a big age gap, and their maturity level was not really on the same level. I also wish we got to know more about Bo and Bailey just individually, but everything else was like cute. Like, love the acts of service. I love the ending for the Chestnut Spring series, like the rest of the characters. So yeah, definitely not a favorite, but I still love the book either way. Next is The Housemate is Watching by Frida McFadden. This is the 3rd and final book in the Housemate series. I gave this one a 1 star. This was not good. I also read this book in a reading vlog if you also want to go watch that. But this was just not good. I can't really say too much because it does follow the first and second book, so you're gonna have to read the first and second book if you want to know what happens in the third book. But just know this felt like kind of like a money grab. Like, no offense to Freida McFadden, I love her books, I love her, but this one I was like, you're kind of just milking the series at this point. Like, it was just so unnecessary. The plot twist wasn't plot twisting. Also the plot just wasn't plotting, so I don't know, it just wasn't for me. The next book I read is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I gave this one a 2.5 stars. This was not my favorite, and I absolutely hated every action the characters did. There is a certain trope that's in this book that I knew when I was gonna go into it, I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't know how it was gonna happen, and I'm so mad that that's how it was written. I just think this could have been a better book. And also it was really short, because everything that happens in this book is basically in a span of a week. You're telling me all of that happened in 1 week? Impossible. First of all, that's impossible. The thing I really like though is the romance between Percy and Sam. I just love childhood friends to lovers. Like, that is my favorite trope, so that's why it still got a 2.5 stars. It's not like a 1 star because of the romance. But overall, I didn't really like the plot. Everything went by so quickly. Like, it was like bam, 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 and I was like, okay, like, let's slow down, calm down, because why are we going so fast? And it's also similar to some other books I read, like The Summer I Turned Pretty, Love in Other Words, The Infinity Between Us. I feel like a lot of summer books follow the same plot, but for some reason this one just felt like the very typical romance summer book plot. You know what I mean? Hopefully you know what I mean. But yeah, not a favorite. I did try reading her other book, Meet Me at the Lake. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out because I just DNF'd it. So I'm not too sure I'm gonna pick up any of her other books, but we'll see what happens. The next book I read is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing by Jessa Hastings, and I gave this book a 4.5 stars. This is the 4th book in the series, I'm pretty sure. This basically is a continuation of the whole series, Magnolia and Daisy, so I can't really say too much. I also did a reading vlog on this book too. If you want to know more of my thoughts, basically it's kind of just like we're just following like the rest of the book. So we're following Daisy's story, and we know more about Julian, which is Daisy's brother, which is nice because I really love Julian. And this book was so good. If you love drama, if you love all of that, this one does have like a little bit of like mafia gangs in it. So if you like that, you might love this. But just know it's a lot of drama. So the next book I read is The Girls by Emma Cline. This was a 3 stars. I have been wanting to read an Emma Cline book since forever, and The Girls was something that really intrigued me. I don't remember who was recommending this book, but I saw it somewhere and I was like, I need to have it in my hands. So when I finally read it, I liked it, but I wasn't obsessed. Like, to be honest, nothing really happens in the beginning to the middle of the book. We basically follow our main character Evie's point of view, and we kind of just get her insight. That's really it. I do talk about more of this book in a reading vlog that I also filmed, so if you want to know more of my thoughts, you can go watch that. But overall, this basically follows like a cult, and it's inspired by the Charles Manson cult, so that's why there's like very similar vibes. And Evie, she's just an outsider, so we kind of just get an outsider's point of view. Like, we don't really know exactly what happens inside the group. That's like the one thing I wish we got more of. I wish we got more insight in the actual group, so we got to know more about them instead of just following Evie. Because while Evie is the main character, she's just not as interesting as the rest of the characters. Liked it, but not obsessed. Next I read is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but this was a 4.25 stars. This was so good. At first, in the beginning, it was a little bit slow because it's in 3rd person, so just getting used to it. Like, it's a little bit slow, but once it started picking up, it picked up. And oh my god, the ending was what? The ending just got me so badly. I had to go to the bookstore the next day and grab the 2nd book and start reading it because it was just so good. So basically we follow our main character, Kiva. I think that's how you say her name. She's a prison healer. One day the rebel queen is captured, and Kiva, she has to like heal the queen and everything, but she has to go through these obstacles because she decided to kind of put herself in a bad position and do these trials that the rebel queen was supposed to do, but Kiva decided to do herself instead. And then obviously there's a little bit of romance in it. There is another character, I can't remember his name, but it's a little bit of romance. It's a little bit of found family. Loved it so much. The ending was just so good. Like, please read it. It was so good. I feel like no one talks about this book, and I feel like people need to talk about it more. Next I read is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I gave this a 4 stars. I listened to this one on audiobook, and then I switched to the Kindle because honestly the audiobook was taking forever, and I was like, I need to get through this book really quickly. The audiobook was really good. Like, I was laughing my ass off because some of the sentences were so funny. I just love the characters so much. It's such like a quick, cute summer read that if you just want to like read by the pool, read by the beach, this is the perfect book for you. We follow our main character, Anna Green, and Wes, or like Liam. He has like 2 names, I don't know. Wes has like a lot of money, so basically he's like a billionaire because of his family, so he's a nepo baby. And Anna Green just recently got fired from her job, and so when Wes comes into her life, he tells her that, you know, they need to be like fake married because he told his family. Anna decides to agree because why not? First of all, it's like a free vacation, and then she also will be getting money to help with her dad. So it's a little bit of like fake dating, kind of like, I wouldn't say it's enemies to lovers. It's just like there's like some banter on there, and it was just a cute read. Loved it so much. Love Christina Lauren. I love their books all the time, so no surprise that I love The Paradise Problem. And the next I read is The Mile High, which is the first book in the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. I gave this a 2 stars. I really wanted to like this book. I really did. But this one was just not for me. I don't know, it's just because for me as a hockey fan, hockey books have kind of been ruined for me because I just cannot read them, especially if the author is like trying to add hockey into the book and they're like trying to like create a game into the book. It just sometimes it's not realistic, and sometimes I just want to laugh, and unfortunately this was not for me. I didn't really like Stevie or Xander's. I thought Xander's was such an asshole. Like, oh my god, I did not like his cocky behavior. Stevie I didn't mind, but overall she just wasn't my favorite character. I didn't really care about her. This one is kind of like a flight attendant, NHL, hockey, forbidden love kind of, because they're not technically supposed to be dating, and also forced proximity. So it's a lot of cute tropes, but overall was just not my favorite. And then next I read is Quicksilver by Kelly Hart, which is the Fae and Alchemy series. This is the first book. This one I gave 4.5 stars. I don't know what was happening this month, but for some reason I was just really into fantasy, and I was just reading a lot of fantasy books. Quicksilver has become like a popular Booktok book that I feel like a lot of people are talking about, but also no one's talking about, so I don't know what's up with that. But this one was so good. Oh my god, do I love the characters. I love the tension. Everything about it was just perfect. I'm definitely gonna be pronouncing these names wrong because fantasy names are just like not, like, no, they're just not for me. I think the main character, her name is Savers Fane. She gets in trouble one day because she is part of like kind of like the third, so it's like the lower middle class, and she's getting punished, but then Death comes and saves her, and it turns out to be Kingfisher, which is also our other main character, and he's like a fae. When he saves her, she lands into this fae world that she always thought never existed, and she's just so confused, like, what is happening, why am I here? And then him and Ceres make a deal because it turns out she actually has some type of magical power, and they need to work together to win this war. It's a lot. Fantasy books, there's always a lot, obviously a lot of magical elements that you need to like know, and also the world building. But for me, this was just so fun. I just loved all the characters, especially Karen. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I loved him as a side character. That was so funny. I don't know if we're gonna get more of him in the next book, but I hope. And specifically, since this is a romantasy book, the romance was amazing. The tension was just everything to me. Like I just like I'm such a romance reader. Like you can tell, like I just love the romance aspect of a fantasy book. But I still love the fantasy. But overall, the romance that's what was hitting. And the last book I read in July is The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is the second book in the Windy City series. This follows Ryan and Indy. I gave this one a 4 stars. Okay, I'm gonna say that I love Ryan and Indy. I think they're such a perfect couple. This book was filled with acts of service, kind of like words of affirmation, like all of the perfect elements that you want in a book. But the biggest but, this book was too long. I thought this book could have been shorter. I don't know why it was 400 pages. I think it should have been like 100 pages less. The plot honestly just got repetitive. Like something would happen, they would solve it, then something would happen again, and I'm like, didn't we just solve that like 10 pages ago? Why are we going over this again? But overall, I love this book still. I think this might be my favorite, but obviously this is only the second one, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, and those are all the books I read in July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm not too sure what I'm going to be reading in August yet. I normally don't do a TBR because I never follow it, but if you do want to see a video for my August TBR, let me know. I will film it quickly because obviously it's already August and should film that before, but let me know, and hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!